God bless you, global Christian friends. God bless the American people and the American government. If all the stars were combined together to make one disk of light, what rainbow effects would occur in similarity to that of the single solar disk of the sun? All right? When you're born of God, 1 John 5:18, you are not the servant of sin, John 8:34. Keep that in mind. All this great wisdom that God is putting out and showing, you ought to take this great wisdom in that the Lord is showing. And I thank him for it. And you ought to thank him for it. And if you let him, he'll use you as a vessel too, because he used us as vessels to dwell in. John's Gospel, chapter 10. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entered not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. You notice that? A thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. Keep that in mind. He that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. And you can't say that God won't open a door. Look at John 4, Revelations 4:1, and read. A door was opened in heaven, and I heard a voice say, come up hither. But you can't say God don't open doors. The Apostle Paul spoke about a door being opened to me at Troas. We've told you what that door was. That was open to him at Troas. God revived the young man, opened the door for the Apostle Paul at Troas. God opened doors. And this is the kind of door that swings in and out, so you can go in and out. All right? Now, verse 3. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. That's just the way the shepherd does, a good shepherd. A good shepherd will do that. A good shepherd was like King David told Saul. I took the leg and the ear out of the mouth of a lion. He would not have the last of my father's sheep. All right, so I slew him, and the bear. The porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and calleth his own by name, and leadeth them out. What does that mean? It means he is very, very, very specific. He called his own sheep by name. That in that is a great wisdom in understanding him calling his own sheep by name. But you have to look back at the beginning of the world in order to find out what that means and see the beauty of that. The lamb slain from the foundation of the world, and see that great beauty. They know his voice. They know his voice. It has been proven so many times by sheep herders and their call to their sheep. They know his voice. Verse 5, and a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. That tells you right there that you cannot be deceived when you are of the Lord, period. Cannot be deceived. There's a law there that tells you you're sealed and your ears are governed and geared to that frequency and that frequency only. And only that frequency you will respond to. Verse 6 says, this parable spake Jesus unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spoke unto them. Of course not. Why? They're not of his sheep. Then said Jesus unto them, in verse 7, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. It's like before Abraham I was, before the day was, I am, and all of that. I am the door of the sheep. In other words, you can't get to the sheep because I'm here. Keep that in mind. That's why the Bible speaks of, if it were possible, they would fool the very elect. But you can't fool the elect. All right? The elect is not to be deceived. Cannot. There's a law that prevents the elect from being deceived. Just like he said here. I am the door of the sheep. Now watch this in verse 8. All that ever came before me were thieves and robbers. That being throughout the history of the world, all so-called sons of God, and my God, the history of the world is riddled with those called sons of God. But he said, all that ever came before I came, they are thieves and robbers. They rob your mind, they rob your understanding, they rob you of your will. As one occasion, remember the time Jesus told them about your righteousness exceeding that of the scribes and Pharisees, because they don't go into the kingdom of heaven and they prevent you from going in themselves. All right, therefore your righteousness must exceed that of the scribes and Pharisees, Matthew 5:20. They don't go in, Matthew 23:13. And those that are entering in, they hinder them from going in. And that's what this is all about. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers. There's a but here. But the sheep did not hear them. Now here is a tunnel and a channel that stretched all the way back to the beginning of time, all the way to the end of time. The sheep cannot hear the voice of strangers, just like the elect cannot be deceived. He cares about his sheep, and he is not going to allow strangers and strange voices and all that other stuff to come in on his sheep. That's not the way he operates. That's not his way. That's not his knowledge. That's not his standard. That's not his will. And we will get into this later on. God bless you, global Christian friend. We love you. Amen.